Hey, welcome to an episode of Dad Bods and Touchdowns. We'll call it a victory post game podcast. uh, Definitely a heart attack game. First and foremost, I want to wish Virginia McCaskey a happy 102nd birthday today, and she got a nice little birthday present. Now I ask her to give us fans a present and sell the fucking team. But besides that, now I get back onto the positive stuff. Today was the coldest game that Caleb Williams has ever played in. Didn't seem to matter with having the victory, but definitely could tell a little bit in that first quarter. We'll get a little bit into that. And since 2009, I did not realize this. He's the first Bears quarterback since 2009, I should say, to start every single game of the season for the Bears. That's a bright side for us that we know as fans. Eric, I'll let you start with some of your takes on the game. A couple, then I'll share a couple that I have too.
Um, I mean, it was nice to see the defense come in with some attitude, take away the ball. They're trying to make a point, which I did like to see. There's a lot of frustrating parts, like always, because they're the Bears. But I mean, it just showed that they were actually a little bit more. I don't know if I want to say together, but at least they showed up today. It wasn't as flat as it usually is. Like we knew we were going to go three and out the first, series, but at least the defense didn't, I mean, continue the same, let them run and then get like long third and longs.
Right. No, absolutely. And Caleb Williams ended the game with 148 passing yards, and one touchdown, no interceptions today. Good thing. I thought Swift looked a little better towards the end of that game.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he ended up with 65 rushing yards. I'm going to go right to it, though. First, I'll hit with the negative so we can hit with all the positives. We did only have a negative 4 yards after the first quarter. And then we only ended up with 57 yards coming out of the second half of total offense. I agree with you. I thought the defense looked really good today. I thought that Washington has got them prepared for that game. There's no secret. I think that with Jordan Love sustaining that injury definitely helped us out. We didn't see much of Josh Jacobs. I think much after the first quarter, really. And then, unfortunately, they had Watson go down for them too. Wish them both health. I mean, even though they're Packers, want to see players stay healthy and finish out their seasons, but it definitely benefited us today, and I'll take it. Um, one of the things that I will say, and I said to you when we first, before we start recording, is you better have a healthy heart if you're a Bears fan, because if you don't, you're probably going to go into cardiac arrest watching their games this season. And definitely, it ended like it's been all season. We were sitting there watching it and saying, what's going to happen? And Cairo Santos hit it. It was just inside that upright. I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous when I seen it, but definitely will take that victory. That snapped our 10-game losing streak, and it also snapped our 11-game losing streak to the Green Bay Packers. Is this something that you see maybe we can look forward to going into next season? I know we'll have a lot of podcasts in between then, so we won't get too deep in it. But, I mean, you think this is definitely a feeder for us?
I think it's a good way to end in a positive note. You don't have that nasty feeling of blowing another close game. We could take it as Caleb has a lot of things to do, but he, like you said, starting, we could finally say Jay Cutler's not our best quarterback. And, and, I'm really excited to see what full year in training camp as far as not having to worry about the draft or who might get drafted by all the distractions, like a full off season where he can just focus on his craft, what he's going to look like coming in. And then also having hopefully a competent head coach that can mentor him and develop him how we know he should be. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Hightower. He really brought out all the trick place that he could find in his playbook.
How
I
about
mean,
that? That
I
was
think
nice.
he deserves another. I mean, if a new coach comes in, I wouldn't be mad if they kept him. I mean, I think he's a solid special teams coach, besides like the block punt thing that we had.
Right,
But
right.
um, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, today was probably the best I've seen our special teams since Vince Tobin. I mean, seriously, I thought Hightower did a good job coaching them. I will say, I will tell you this: that last kickoff that Green Bay had, and we decided to try to do an end around off of that. I was not happy about that play call, just because we had had so much success on our kickoffs as far as getting. We usually start around the 30, 35-yard line. And that definitely dropped us back a little bit. But our offense recovered it nicely for sure.
Yeah, I was a little nervous, and then for a second I thought he was gonna break it, but then he got just tripped up there. And just hold that block, and maybe he could go for it. Want to see another special teams touchdown or something? That would have been fun.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It would have been nice. I will say this, and I know I texted it across our group chat, and I don't know, there was no reply, so I don't know if you guys agreed with me, but even coming out of this win, how many times did you see Sweat getting held today? I mean, legit guy dragging on him and no flag. Why is it? Is it just because our record's so bad? I mean, that refs
It's
really are not
it's
just going to
it's
call it?
it's Green Bay. I mean, that's really the best answer I can have. It feels like it's like they're like a mini Patrick Mahomes where they just get all the calls of Kansas City. I know that's biased, but it just feels that way every game that we play them. They get every little call that they can, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then finally they threw one. I'm like, where was that a while ago? You know?
Yeah.
Uh,
I was frustrated with Sweat with a couple plays with his contain. I mean, I was hoping he would have a little bit more aggression, but like you said, he was getting held. He was probably frustrated too at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah, definitely. I'll be honest with you. I thought our front four played very well. I really
Yeah.
do. I think they
I
applied pressure when they needed to.
There's a lot of good things coming from them. So there's a lot of like I'm hoping we can get some good as far as resigning like Taylor and Ford and Williams for depth pieces. I think they're going to be solid players.
Yeah, definitely. DJ Moore did have 9 catches for 86 yards. Unfortunately, he did have that fumble, but he also had a very awesome touchdown run to watch. I thought it was a very well designed play. Um,
Yeah,
besides that, besides it being well designed, I mean, Moore at the end of that run or at the end of that play definitely took the right angles, and the defense for Green Bay took the wrong angles, and he ended up in the end zone, which was beautiful to see. So a great day for DJ Moore. Keenan Allen again. He, we talked about this during our podcast, our regular podcast. We need to bring him back in those clutch situations. He's there and he catches the ball every time in the clutch. Now he's had
I
some drops, but not in the clutch
I would
situations.
still take Kittle over him personally. I agree that he's solid with some moments, but if he's 10 plus thousand for a year, I don't know if that's.
We
I mean, if he
we
comes in at a reasonable price as a 33-year-old receiver, then I agree with you. I understand he's like a safety blanket for um, Williams, but I mean, how much does that take away from um, more and as far as Matt and Odunze to get them more involved? Uh,
Well, the
I mean,
upside is we got
Allen's
80 million in cap space next year.
I agree with you, but I would rather put that into the offensive line, defensive
You
line,
can't you
and
can't spend it
more.
all. You can't spend it all. You might as
You
well
can,
use a
and
little
you
bit.
should. You should. I really, I know he's solid, but if he's 10 plus no for a 33-year-old.
Right, right. I have a question for you too, and I I'm just the notes I took have been positive, and obviously some outlook on things that I think probably could have been a little better. We talked about special teams, and one of the things I'm going to talk about is that trajectory of McManus's field goal at the end of that game. Very low, very low. Actually, probably lower than what McManus's are. Don't you think that a coach should plan? Hey, listen, this is a 55-yard field goal. This thing's not going to come out high. It's coming up and over the line. They didn't seem to get their hands up. There wasn't much there.
No.
You know,
I don't know how much of that they probably didn't plan, honestly. They were probably too worried about all these trick plays that they were trying.
yeah,
They had a few,
but they had a timeout before that field goal.
no, I agree. But I don't know if they could have played it a little bit as far as, I don't know, just like where they had opportunities on special teams to do certain things because the Packers didn't seem very in it, but I don't know. I don't know. That
Yeah,
was you do have a point on that they did look a little soft with that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And they did on that very first punt for Green Bay. I think at the start of that game. And I'm just that's just nitpicking them. I thought overall, like we talked about, Hightower had an outstanding coaching job for his special teams. I thought overall offensively, even though it was such a slow start, I think we were prepared there. Our defense was 100% prepared. Our defense is why we won this game today. Besides our special teams, I guess as a group, they would both get A's today. I think the offensive lines just struggles. But and if I'm making a quick grade, I'm lucky if I give them a C offensively, and that's just being fair about it and not being a homer. Uh, Looking at total yardage today, Bears had 224 yards of total offense. Green Bay had 367 yards of total offense. As far as turnovers, both teams had 2 turnovers. So, I mean, that's I one of them we lost, one of them we didn't. So as far as the Bears go, and Green Bay lost both of theirs. So, um, what do you got as far as thoughts for this last game of the season? Um, and what are you taking away from it? The
I'm just
season in general.
happy. Yeah, I'm just happy that we have a quarterback and we ended up like the season not getting curb stomped or however you want to say it. We showed up. That's a positive. I wanted to end at a positive and we did. Uh, as far as for what I'm looking forward to, I think I'm excited to see what they do as far as who they're going to bring in next week. As far as interviews, I'm hoping to see a few names. I don't know who you think they'll have for sure, but I've seen a few things.
Yeah,
But
I've seen Rivera's name, and then I also seen Brown's name. So
yeah,
those are the only two I've really heard. Get called out there. But it's here we go. I mean, obviously,
if we don't hear like Monday, we don't hear like, hey, these are the people like back to back. I mean, besides the people obviously that are going to the playoffs,
right,
obviously you can't do those people, but other than that, I mean, but anybody that's out there, I mean, I want to see them at least talk to them.
right, right. No, I agree with you, and I think you're right. I think we'll start to hear about some on Monday. Um, if my pick goes to the Super Bowl, it'll be a while before we can actually interview another one of the candidates,
If
which
if
is
they get
concerning. You know,
if they
concerning.
get that first week by, and they win tonight, he will be able to interview
Oh,
them
okay,
by week.
gotcha. I did not know
Um,
that. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just like if they can do in person and Zoom, but I know um they were talking about on Hogan Johns that he will be able to interview um, as long as they get that first week.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, that'd be all right. I mean, we definitely don't want to wait around too long because if we don't I mean, if we were to wait on a Ben Johnson to interview and all of a sudden just something isn't clicking there, I'm just throwing it out there, and then all of a sudden you've got another coach who coached very well is already picked up that you interviewed. So we'll see. I'm just I'm not excited that the season's over. I'm excited that the pain's over. I'm not gonna lie, but I am excited to see what the future is. I'm just as excited right now. Even if the Bears would have walked away with a loss today, I would be just as excited to see what the future holds for us next season.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what free agency brings, what the draft brings, and the head coach, obviously, without saying, and the team he brings on with him. I'm excited. I ain't gonna lie. I know we got the players. I mean, look what we've done. I mean, considering the coaching level we had all year.
yeah,
So, I mean, that's just we aren't starting out with Shane Waldron.
right,
So,
exactly. As long as we have somebody competent, and that shows that they can develop a team and not
right,
just offense or defense, just the overall team.
right,
Some
right,
people like to call it an alpha, leader of men, whatever you want to call them. We need someone that will come in and set the tone and hold people
right.
accountable.
Absolutely. I completely agree. All right. Well, this is the official last post game uh, podcast for the season. Um, Anything before I sign us out of here?
Uh, the New England Patriots are done for winning against the Bills. That's all I have to say. They lose a top five draft pick because they wanted to win the last
Yeah,
game. Sorry,
yeah.
I thought that was funny. Okay, that'll be all I have to say.
All I've got is, and I'm going to say this because I know I have some Packer fans that watch this. Um, I will not be texting you today. I will not be calling you. I will not be tagging you in any posts. I will just enjoy this victory by myself because it's the first one I've been able to enjoy in 12 games. So, with saying that, I'm not, I'm not getting too happy until I see 2 or 3 wins in a row, and I still won't bother you. We'll just enjoy the victories.
I will. I'll be sure to bother you. Don't worry.
So, with
They'll have
saying
ex-
that.
they'll have excuses for sure for this game, but I'll still bother you. It's fine.
All right. We're saying that we appreciate you watching the post game podcast. We will be back next season. Eric and myself sharing our take on everything. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this. Leave any questions or comments you may have. We can direct them towards our regular podcast that we have that comes out every Friday morning at 4 a.m. We appreciate you listening. We're excited about the victory. Bear down.